guys! So today I wanted to make a video answering a question that I've been getting more frequently lately, and that is how I afford having so many pets. At the moment, I currently have 14 pets, which is quite a lot. If you compare it to some of the pet channels on YouTube, it's really not that much, but I know in general, just like as far as most pet owners, 14 pets is a pretty large amount, so a lot of people wonder how I can afford it. So today I thought I would just sit down and talk about how I personally afford having this many pets and just some things to consider if you are thinking about getting a few more pets. Before I get into that, I do just want to mention that this video is actually sponsored by Rover. Rover is the nation's largest 5-star network of not only pet sitters but dog walkers, and they operate in all 50 states. When you go onto Rover and you're looking for someone to either watch your pets or walk your dogs, the great thing about it is everyone has a background check so you can trust the people who are going to be with your pets. And everyone also has reviews so you can see personal reviews of what other people who have trusted their animals with this person thought. I recently made a video talking about who watches my pets when I go on vacation, and I had a few people in the comments ask what they should do if they don't have friends or family nearby who can watch their pets. And for that, Rover is a really great option because they not only watch dogs or cats, they'll come over, they will feed your hamster, they will mist your crested gecko. You can find people in your area to take care of almost any pet. So if you don't know anyone around you and you just really want to go on that long-awaited vacation, make sure to go over and check out Rover and find someone near you. There is a link down in my description, and if you use that link, you can go over to Rover and actually save $20 off of your first purchase. So you can go on vacation, have someone take care of your pets, and save $20 at the same time, so make sure to click the link down in the description. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this video, I do currently own 14 pets, and I know that that is a pretty large number, so it can get expensive sometimes. I honestly don't think it is crazy expensive, but that's just going to depend on your personal living situation and your financial situation. But for me, it doesn't really put a big burden on my finances. Before I bring any new pet into my house, that is one of the main things I consider is, can I financially afford to take care of this? And if the answer is no, that pet is definitely not coming home. I would have to say that my two expensive pets are my dogs, Ellie and Steve. They seem to be a lot more expensive than all of my other pets just because of their maintenance cost. They have to go to the vet every year for a checkup. My other pets I don't take for checkups. The only time they go to the vet is if there's an emergency or if they're sick. But as far as yearly checkups, the only ones that I take to the vet are my dogs. Along with that, my dogs are on monthly medications. They are on these year-round. They're on both heartworm medication, so this prevents them from getting any heartworms outside because those can be awful on a dog and they're usually pretty deadly. And I also do keep them on flea medication year-round just to be safe. So these medications are about $20 a month per dog, so that can really add up. Other than that, I would say the main expense for all of my pets is food. Now, food can be pretty cheap depending on who you ask. I personally like to feed a high quality grain-free food to my dogs. I also go with some higher quality foods like for my hamsters and gerbils, and then most of my other reptiles eat live foods or powdered foods that aren't that expensive, but a high quality diet can be very pricey. You can go to Walmart and get some dog chow or something, and I know some people do that. I'm not going to get into that on this video, but for me personally, one of the main expenses is a diet because I do like a certain brand. Also, Ellie is extremely picky and there's only one brand and one flavor of food she'll eat, so that is what I have to go with. Behind food, I would say my next highest expense is probably bedding for my small animals. I currently have 2 hamsters and 2 gerbils. You guys know they need large tanks. They need a lot larger cages than some people think. And gerbils actually need a ton of bedding. When my gerbils use Carefresh in their tank, I actually use 2 of the very largest bags of Carefresh. So that can add up really quick, so that is definitely a big expense. 2 bags of Carefresh will run you almost $60, and I use that every single time I put Carefresh in their tank. Sometimes I do mix it with Aspen just to keep the cost down a little bit. Besides all those basic costs, there are a lot of other costs that people don't consider that are upkeep costs. My gerbils go through chews really quick, and while I do use like cardboard tubes, I also like to buy them a lot of wood because they really seem to enjoy it. So I'm constantly buying them chews. I'm buying new decor for my cages, upgrading cages. Also with all these reptiles, a heat mat or a thermostat or a heat bulb might go out all of a sudden, and you have to be ready for that extra expense. So there are definitely a ton of expenses that go into animals, and it's really important that people take into consider all of these before they go out and get an animal. You might see a $10 hamster in the store, think it's going to be a super cheap pet, get it home and realize you can't afford the upkeep. There is one other cost associated with my dogs that luckily I don't have to use that often, and that is when I have to board my dogs or they need to go to daycare and grooming. Once again, this is where Rover can come into play. If you go on there, you can actually see exactly how much every person charges for walking your dog or caring for your pets. So if you're gone all day and you need someone to walk your dog, you need to budget that in, but Rover can save you a little bit of money. And like I said, the link in the description will get you $20 off of your first use. So those are a lot of the main costs that come into caring for pets. Now real quick, I will just talk about how I personally afford all my pets. Like I said, everybody's financial situations is different, so a pet that seems really cheap to one person might seem pretty expensive to another person. It just depends on your personal perspective and where you're at. I get questions a lot of time asking if YouTube is my job, and it is not. YouTube is actually my hobby. While I do make a little bit of money off my videos, I do not rely on that income at all to take care of myself or my pets. So for some crazy reason, all of you stopped watching tomorrow, I got $0 from YouTube, I would still make sure I could care for all of my pets that I currently have. I do actually have a full-time job outside of YouTube. A lot of people ask what I do, and I'm an accountant. So I'm very fortunate enough to have a full-time job that pays the bills and allows me to have all these animals. Along with that full-time job, I do have another, I guess you could consider it a part-time job. I do have my own online pet store, which I always link in the description, where I sell small animal products. That is just starting out, so I'm not really making a bunch of money off of there, but that is another source of income down the line that I'll have for my pets. So I do have a few sources of income coming in. Like I said, I do work full time, and that gives me a lot of flexibility with owning animals. It's also very important when you're owning pets to either have a savings account or a backup credit card for any expenses that might come up, including emergency vet visits. A few weeks ago on Easter, Ellie actually hurt her nail, and we had to go to the emergency vet. And just for them to look at her toenail, it was $220. And that doesn't just happen with dogs. You might check on your gecko or your hamster one day, something's wrong, you have to rush them to the vet, and all of a sudden you're looking at a bill for a few $100s. So it's really important to either have a savings account or a credit card in a dire situation that you can put that on so you don't have to wait to get them proper vet care. Other than that, another way I like to save money is when I go pet shopping, I usually always price match or use some sort of sale or coupon. A lot of stores now, including Petco and Pet Supplies Plus, and I believe PetSmart too, they all price match online prices, and a lot of times at Petco you can save up to like 60%, and it's crazy. So I never buy stuff full price in Petco. I always match their online prices, and that saves me a lot of money. So between working full time, having a couple little side jobs that earn a little bit of income for me, having a savings account in case of any type of emergencies with any of my animals, and using price matching and coupons, that is how I personally afford to take care of my pets. 14 pets might overwhelm a lot of people, but I found that for my lifestyle it works great. I know some people have dozens and dozens of pets, and while personally that does not work for me and I wouldn't feel comfortable in that situation, it can work for other people. It just depends on how they're able to manage their money. If you guys have any great tips on how you personally save money on your pets, make sure to let me and everybody else know down in the comments. I'm sure everybody here wouldn't mind hearing a way to save $1 or $2 on all their animals. Also make sure to check out the link if you want to save $20 on Rover. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.